Hi Libra, welcome to your monthly tarot reading with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. So before we start, let me apologise for the lateness of these videos. It's been a bit of a crazy month. So I would like to bless both of these decks with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good, as always. So your actions and your interactions this month, let's see what they have in store for you. So you get the Seven of Cups. Okay, so this is not a great card. It's not an awful card in the sense that it can be quite an artistic endeavour. It can be quite creative, creative in the sense of, you know, really actually being creative, like drawing. It can be talking about fantasy writing, anything like that. But when I see this card, I usually say to people, do not spread yourself too thin. Libra, this is not the month to take on or bite off more than you can chew. This is not the month for you to continually say yes to everything and everyone. In fact, there's going to be many opportunities that come to you this month, and it's going to be down to you. The feeling that I'm having is you're going to be put upon with quite a lot of opportunities and invites. It's going to be down to you, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on which way you look at it, to really be discerning about the ones that you follow. And if you look at this card, so you see this guy here and he's looking at all the cups and it's like they've got everything that he could ask for. Constant opportunities, constant offers and, you know, enticements and whatnot, and it's like yeah I can have this, I can do that, and da, 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 da. And before you know it, you've spent so much energy trying to juggle so many things that you actually end up getting very little, if anything, done, completed or achieved anyway. And this is why the invites, the opportunities, the ideas as well that you have, you know, air signs this month are going to be going through, you know, there's going to be lots of mental energy going on for us anyway. This is going to talk very heavily about you being discerning. You're going to have to really listen to your emotions, to your feelings, to your thoughts, to, you know, to really weed out the wheat from the chaff. You're going to have to really make solid and firm decisions about what opportunities and invites you want to accept. Some of them can and will be golden. Others will amount to nothing. The problem is you won't be able to fulfill them all, so you're going to have to be really discerning about what it is that you put your time and your effort and your energy into, what it is that you accept. Because the seven of Cups is confusion, and it's not like, because it's a Neptunian card, it's got that kind of energy of being a bit nebulous and kind of hard to pin the energy down and make something solid or firm out of it. And for that reason, it's about being very, very sure about what you decide to commit to, about being very, very sure about what you decide to interact with. So you've got the number 7. 7 in numerology, like I said, especially in terms of the tarot, is about endurance. It's about, you know, going the distance and finishing and going that extra mile to get something done. And the 7 of Cups is about the 7 of emotions. It's about having too much emotional energy being spent with very, very little in the way of tangible results. So your actions and your interactions this month are to be cautious and to be discerning. You need to be very, very clear on why you're taking the opportunities or the invites that you're taking and what it is that you expect to get out of them. And if you can hold off for doing anything up until probably the 18th, and I say that because we've got the Mercury retrograde, which ends on the 15th, and then we've got the new moon, which is a powerful time for beginnings, but it's usually best to wait a couple of days after. So from about the 18th is when you should sort of start to be thinking about actually doing and materializing things. But yeah, don't spread yourself too thin this month, because you might find that by taking on so much, you end up not doing really anything at all. Okay, so your money and your materials. you have the Queen of Wands. Okay, so this is good. Because this means in terms of your finances, you're actually making solid decisions. You're making solid foundational decisions. So who is the Queen of Wands? The Queen of Wands is a fire sign female, a Leo, an Aries or a Sagittarius, or somebody that demonstrates these traits. Somebody that's fiery, spirited, you know, what you see is what you get. Somebody that is vibrant, somebody that has a lot of zest for life, somebody that's really outspoken. You know, very much what you see with this person is exactly what you get. There's no pretense. Just like fire, you know, it says I'm warm, I'm beautiful, I'm mysterious, but I will burn you. You know, and it makes no mistakes or excuses about that. If it's a candle flame, if it's a forest fire, it's irrelevant. Fire is fire, and it doesn't hold anything back. There are secrets in the flames if you gaze, absolutely. But what you see with fire is what you get. And this is probably, actually not even probably, the message behind this in terms of your money and your materials is transparency. Now this is really interesting because I talked here about confusion and not spreading yourself too thin. And then you've got the Queen of Wands, and she's demanding transparency. I am what I am. I own up to what I am, and I don't make any mince about my words when I'm doing so. And in terms of your money and your materials, she's coming along because, you know, sometimes the court cards can represent an aspect or an archetype of ourselves. And what she's asking you is to get very clear, and more importantly, to demand transparency, clarity, honesty, and openness in terms of your finances. If you share money with a partner, with a business, if you are invested in something, this month might be the time to take a look into what you're actually getting and what you're actually paying for. In terms of, you know, bills, mobile phone bill, you know, house insurance, all of that stuff. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't give you that advice. What I can tell you is that under this energy, she is not even probably, she is coming forward. You see the little black cat here? He represents the mysteries or the secrets that you can learn in the flame. And the flame or the fire or the wands is your willpower. She is demanding that you look into your financial affairs, because somewhere you will probably discover some kind of discrepancy. So maybe that you can actually get a better deal on your phone. Maybe that you're paying too much for your, you know, home and contents insurance, or maybe that, you know, the fine print of your this and this actually means that you're not getting the best deal for what it is that you're paying for. The Queen of Wands in this sector is asking you to demand transparency around your finances. When you see these two together, yeah, she's very much saying, you know, I want transparency, but, and you know, like I said, don't spread yourself too thin. Make sure you're getting what you're actually, you know, what you're being told you are getting. So your communications, your emails, text messages, interactions, phone calls, letters, social media. The Eight of Cups. Now this is interesting because you've got the Seven of Cups here, and right underneath it in the air sector, so you've got the fire sector, and then in the air sector you get the Eight of Cups. Now the Eight of Cups is disappointment, but it's walking away from the disappointment. It means that you've left it behind. This is something that's actually already leaving your life, but it talks about the emotional imbalance that happens as a result of this. So this is interesting because now that I can see this and this underneath, it does make me wonder. This, I kind of feel now, is more about you reminiscing. How much time have I wasted? How much more could have been achieved? This experience of spreading yourself too thin then starts to look like melancholy. You know, it starts to look like, oh, you know, I've wasted too much time. Well, actually, no, you haven't. And that's why you've got the Queen of Wands. She's saying, okay, this was the experience. And yes, we need more transparency. Yes, we need more clarity. But you know what? If you pull it up by the reins now and start to communicate about what it is that you've experienced, and more importantly, what it is that you want to experience from here, you can change the dialogue that you're having on an energetic and a vibrational level. So the experience that you've had that has created this emotional imbalance, it's like the Queen of Wands is saying, don't let that become the narrative that you send out and broadcast out into the universe, because that's what's going to come back at you. And it's this, you know, the Eight of Cups is there to remind you that actually you're already over this hurdle. Now you just have to sort out some of the ickiness on the inside. And, you know, in terms of your communications, the number 8 is a good number. It's a number of luck and abundance. You can and you are actually heading towards that. If you see the figure, he's moving towards that. He's got the red cloak on as well. Red, wands, fire. You know, it's all there. It's all saying to you, you're going and you're heading in the right way. In the, you know, you're moving away from this disappointment. You're moving away from the emotional aspect of it that's, you know, caused you some hurt. But what you need to remember is what you're walking towards now. Don't have this, you know, like I said, this feeling of melancholy, or where you're just saying, oh, you know, I've wasted too much time and because that happened I can't. No. That happened. It was an experience, and if you can learn the abundance from it, the experience itself will give you wisdom. And as the saying goes, knowledge is free, but for wisdom you have to pay. You've already had the moment where you had to pay for it and it cost you some way of your feelings. If you can get out of that feeling now, you can start to use that experience and start to broadcast, right, okay, what did I learn from that? And how can I move forward with it? Well, the way that you move forward is to slightly backtrack with this. Demand more transparency. Demand to know what it is that you are paying for. Demand to know what it is that you're being told. If you're looking at results from something, okay, well, what does this mean? It's all well and good talking jargon at me. Break it down so that I can understand it. If you don't understand something, find people that can help you understand, or make the people that are giving you that information, make them give you information that actually means something to you. Okay, and finally, your heart and your hearth. Ah, beautiful. So finally, this is interesting as well. So you see you've got the 2 water cards here, the 2 cups cards, and now you've got the 2 wands cards. Now, it's been a bit of an interesting ride already, and the month of April is going to be an even more interesting ride, which is, you know, is really, really interesting in and of itself. But the 4 of Wands talks about foundation. It talks about, I mean, it represents celebration, it represents marriage, it represents foundations, it represents your home being your castle. So your heart and your hearth, your relationships, your interactions this month, which is no surprise for a Libra, really, let's be honest. That's where your source of strength is. That's where your source of courage and more importantly, your sense of somebody having your back comes from. Your victory, your success, your celebration, your happiness comes through the people that you know. So whether that's your partner, your family, your friends, all of your relationships are what's going to give you the energy to see yourself through the rest of this month and really decide to actually go, you know, not even go for broke. You're going not for what would be the opposite for that? Go for abundance. Go for having, not lack, but for having, you know, go for the goal of achieving or attaining. That's what you need to go for. And it's your relationships that are going to carry you there. It's your relationships that are going to give you the strength to continue. And more importantly, to move past this experience and broadcast something brighter and better so that you can attract brighter and better into your life. Now, you've got the 2 wands. For those of you that are partnered, this looks beautiful. If you're in a new relationship, this is taking things to the next level. This is knowing that whatever else happens around you, actually the relationship sector, you know, for those of you that are newly partnered, this is solid. This is just good for you guys. You know, it bodes very, very well. For those of you that are single, this is you attending marriages, it's attending engagement parties, it's going, you know, meeting up with people that say, oh, actually, you know what, I'm with this person and I really want them to meet my friends or my family or whatever. This is you interacting with other people's partners, and from seeing that, it's like having happy news or things to be happy about for other people actually raises your vibration. And when that vibration goes up, you start to attract things that are of a higher vibration. We're all like magnets. That's how it works. And you will attract what you are giving out, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which way you put it. Switch it up if you need to. For familial relationships, this looks lovely. For some of you, those relationships that have ended, or those experiences that you've had in relationships that have caused you some kind of pain, you are walking away from it. And it's actually going to make you stronger, because you're going to demand more from that relationship. And more importantly, you're going to demand more clarity, more transparency. And then finally, this is the celebration. This is the marriage. It's the happy home. But then you've got it coupled here, you know, and this is your heart and your half. So your relationships, you've got it coupled here with the card of confusion, but also spreading yourself too thin. Stop trying to be all things to all people, Libra. It's just not possible. And in the end, it dissipates everything that you are, because you can't focus on anything. I always say to people, have 3 goals. At any one time, have 3 goals going. 3 things that you can continuously and constantly work on. And once you've achieved one of them, replace it with something else. Have 3 goals, or 3 things that you're focusing, not 7. Because what are you going to do with that? Unless you're, you know, it's just not possible. It's about bringing your focus in so that you can get the best out of what you're giving. And your key to the month, temperance. Interesting, given the cards that you have. Temperance is all about patience. It's all about spiritual distillation. It's all about spiritual alchemy. It's about turning this experience and this emotional imbalance into strength, into power. It's about turning base metal into gold. What's the base metal? The base metal is the difficult situation that you've had. The gold is taking, you know, the positive from it and saying to yourself, right, what can I do with this now? How do I change the dialogue that I'm having with my life? How do I raise my vibration because of the experience that I've had? You know, what is the wealth of information? What is the wealth of knowledge in the experience that I've had? Once you pinpoint that, that's when you start to really become an alchemist. That's when you really start to transmute energy and turn it into, you know, pure gold. But the Temperance card also talks about liberation, talks about personal freedom. And the way that we become free is by walking away from anything or anyone that no longer serves us. And that includes sometimes our outlook. Libra, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance itself. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you very soon for more videos. Take care.